how do's. Hello.
Hello.
I don't know. Sometimes like these things happen in my head about how I'm going to start an episode, and it just never happens, doesn't it? I look like a little hermit. Gollum. Welcome to episode 12.
Yeah.
That was my best Gollum. I don't know. But it is episode 12. Welcome. Good. I bet you can't tell that we filmed this back to back. I don't know what gave that away. It's not like we're wearing the same outfit and it's still the same sunny day as before. But can you help us with like filming stuff back to back? It is easier to upload, you know. I didn't point out how awesome my socks were as well. Like, look at those sexy socks. Anyways, what? Episode 12. Here we are. We're continuing the Attack on Titan agenda. And this episode, we're going to delve into, in a world full of Titans, in a world full of monsters, why are humans equally as monstrous, or if not more monstrous as well? So the commentary on that tale being told is what we want to unpack today. I know I want to talk about Mikasa, Levi, and Erwin today. I want to talk about those guys. I know you wanted to talk about Armin. You wanted to go back to Aaron and Reiner briefly as well. So we both got the things that we'd like to say today as well. By the time that this episode airs, next week will be episode 13. And episode 13 will be the final episode before the mid-season break. So just remember that. That's the only bit of admin I've got to talk about in this episode, so don't worry, I won't bore you with that. Except I will. So anyway, no. Oh, that was funny. So do you want to start, bro?
Yeah. How do I start this? How do I frame it? I think so when we're first introduced to Titans, they are very sort of, they're not thinking. They're sort of more beast-like than they are thinking. So they're just sort of, they come to an area and they just eat for the sake of eating.
Yes.
And then we kind of find out that, I think when Annie's first reveal comes in, is the first sort of thinking Titan.
Yeah, the Titan that doesn't consume other Titans.
No.
Well,
and she's got the sort of the human aspect of it. Everyone sort of sees it when the reveal happens that there's a female Titan. Everyone looks at the normal Titans and kind of goes, "Oh, they don't think a lot. They don't do much." And yet Annie on the other hand is strategic. She'll cover her nape.
That was kind of badass.
Like she does. She as I said earlier, on the previous episode, she's a sort of shock troop. Like she'll destroy for the sake of destroying something. But again, there's a strategy to it. And then we find, I guess, as we begin to find out that like humans are controlling the Titans, we begin to realise that what's making the humans also similar to Titans is their strategy in how they want to do harm. Yeah. Sort of like you always get as you get further into the seasons, you kind of get this sort of arms race in regards to who's got what Titan and what this Titan has that another Titan does not, and why that's got the edge to compare to something else.
Yeah, I get that. That's an interesting way to start. Because I wanted to jump into the human side of things, and I guess that kind of is, but I see what you mean. So these Titans are seen as mindless monsters. And the fact that there are driving forces behind the intelligent Titans being humans. Now, pardon me, we see that, and humanity sees Eren as a monster as well. They're like, oh my gosh, Eren is one of them. Let's basically unalive him. He doesn't deserve life because he's a monster. And the same goes for Reiner, for Berthold, for Ymir, for Zeke as well. They're all resented by their origins. They're all resented throughout the series by humans. And can you blame the humans? Because like the Titans have been perceived as these monsters that consume humans. They are viewed like this antagonistic force of destruction. As the series progresses, we're awakened to the origin of the Titans and that they aren't natural creatures. They have to be created by the injection as well. Now, I remember it wasn't instantaneous because what was Zeke's spinal fluid? I think some of them were instant, but like the injection of Zeke's spinal fluid with his commanding power, he could then ignite this spark within the humans. Like with Zeke's blood in their system, he could roar, and then they would turn into Titans. Which was a very powerful scene as well. I'll get to that in a minute. But now we know that humans were the one creating these monsters. And not only that, they were taking away a human's ability to... Do you hear that? Again, Tetty's trying to crash the podcast again. Love that. Taking away the human's ability to be human. Yeah. So they're turned into this mindless walking zombie. Essentially, they are.
So they once they're telling that there's no free thought, there's no. It's more, I walk and consume, and that's what I do, sort of thing. From the basic Titans perspective. And you kind of get a lot of that sort of consumption's kind of like eating is kind of very much pushed to the forefront. Like, most of the villains and all that sort of stuff is like, all we do is consume everything like that. Which is, it's fair, but there's also nuances in regards to that.
But it's, look, what I liked about that is that we believe that the power of the Titans is exclusive to certain people, and then along comes the royal family, the family of Historia, and they've got injections like spinal fluid, and you believe it to only be just like the last of its kind. So they have the power to turn one person into a Titan, but then they're just like, we're going to use this because then that will, if they're in the process of unaliving, that will reignite the spark, and then they can consume someone who has a Titan power, and then they'll be able to live. So we perceive that as this just MacGuffin. You know, we don't realise that there's more to it than that. That there's an infinite potential to take away humanity, and we perceive it as Zeke as the one who is taking humanity away. And in essence, he does. But it all started with Fritz and then the Marlians as well. The Marlians basically took the Titan power, utilised it, and said, if you've got Titan powers, we'll have Titan powers. Taking humanity away from them as well, because I'm going to stop saying that, but what I will say is that we know that the lifespan of one who has a Titan power is significantly limited. Hence why someone has to be chosen, otherwise that power will die. Will wither away and will be useless. They're like, who's going to be the next? Who's going to be the next? Who's going to be the next? Despite if any of the Titans lived or not, they would not have been able to have a long and healthy life. Erwin, in the end, removes the power of the Titans altogether. He just goes, you guys can live happy and healthy lives until you're old, you're grey. Don't need to worry about that. Really weird that Erwin, as the antagonist, this major evil Titan at that point in time, then turns around and goes, because I am gone, I'm taking all of the Titan powers with me. You guys get your humanity back. I don't know what your thoughts are there, because it's just interesting how it never seems to be a stable and secure answer, but what you get from it is that the creation of Titans started with a human suffering.
Yeah.
And then the human suffering continued and continued and continued.
I'm going to go on a very religious narrative because it kind of makes sense.
Oh, okay.
So, what's the Cain and Abel? The original
right.
murder. Like that's kind of where Attack on Titan is. Sort of like you got your original sort of sin, I guess. But then and then over time it's sort of it's spread across human again, spread across humans as a Titan sort of thing. Again, that sort of so your sort of Titan side or aggressive side is spread over people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of people's ability to grapple with that idea.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got this Titan power. What do I do with it? How am I being responsible with this sort of thing?
Yeah. And this brings me to 2 points that I wanted to talk about. First one is Zeke. When he is faced with this decision of, I need to get to Erwin, so we can both, when we touch one another, we can gain access to the paths. And Erwin can get the power. No, sorry, Zeke said for, I'm going to get the power and I'm going to enact my euthanization plan, which was kind of fucked up, but you saw where he was coming from. He was basically just like, the cycle must end. There must be no more war, no more Titans. This has got to stop.
Yeah.
So all people that have the potential to turn into Titans cannot, like, I can't do it. We can't. This has got to stop.
Yeah.
He was then faced with Colt, I believe his name was. I think it was Colt's brother. Or anyways, Zeke's blood was throughout all of the soldiers, and he was about to roar and turn them all into soldiers so he could get access to Erwin.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he shouted at, like, "You got to stop! You're going to take so many lives away. You're going to transform people into mindless slaves, including my brother. You have a brother. You a younger brother. You know what it's like. Please, do not do this."
Yeah.
And instead of Zeke being this ultimate villain in that moment, where you see the big lumbering beast Titan turning around looking at him, inside Zeke he's mortified. He looks, does he want to do this? Absolutely not. No, he doesn't. He goes, no, I understand where you're coming from. I understand. I wouldn't want my little brother Erwin to even have this power in the first place. I don't want anyone to have this power ever again. Which is why I have to do this. I'm sorry. Raw. He's like, he doesn't want to do that. He's just like, please. Means, like, some lives are a means to an end, so that none of this tragedy can ever happen again. That's powerful. It really is. It's such a tragic scene. You just see the Beast Titan, which was this formidable evil foe in Series 3.
Yeah.
In Series 4, became like this tragic villain.
Well, yeah, like he's sort of seen as very sort of steadfast and like he's got a plan, all that sort of stuff with his sort of strategy you see in the seasons. And then as we get to explore Zeke some more, you kind of begin to realise that the idea he has is breaking him aside because he doesn't want to do it.
No, of course he doesn't.
You begin to sort of see that Zeke is a lot more sensitive than we're given an idea.
His perspective was quite interesting because we see him as a kid that ratted out his dad. His dad was trying to take the fight to Marley. Marley shouldn't be able to turn people into Titans whenever they want to. There is this people like Ymir versus Marley, like the Marleyans. Essentially they're being racist. They are like, Ymir is beneath us. you're only here because we can turn you into Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're here. You're lesser than us. You're pathetic.
Yeah.
And he's like, resistance, revolt. And Zeke rats him out and gets him and his mum turned into Titans while he doesn't know Grishna lives. But then you see it from Zeke's perspective. A negligent dad, a negligent mum. It's like, granddad and grandmother care about me more than my dad ever will. And then I think I remember Zeke coming along saying that he was like, I want to be a baseball player. Like, I remember he was throwing the ball and Grishna was just livid. He was like, no, you're my son. You're going to help me. You're going to be part of this. No son of mine will be a baseball player. You're going to be part of the resistance. Zeke's hand was forced. He didn't want to do that, but he was just a child and he wanted someone to look up to. And he was neglected as well. Where was this evil coming from? Was it coming from a Titan? No, it wasn't. It was coming from the what we thought was a good motivation, and then you see it again. Attack on Titan classic. It flips it. You see it from the other side. Grishna not once turned around and thought about the welfare of his son.
No,
he didn't. Did he even think about the welfare of Erwin? He tried to. He tried to be different with Erwin. He swore that he would never have a family again, but then he met Erwin's mother, and Erwin was born, and in that moment, Erwin could be different. He could be more like, you know. And then he has to go forward with what he knows he needs to. The original Attack Titan is just like, you can see the future, you need to ensure you get the Founder's power so Mikasa and Armin can live, because ultimately that's what Erwin wants. Your son wants that. Your son wants a peaceful future. Cool, let me do that. He gets there. Erwin goes, unalive him, unalive him, unalive him, unalive him. Grishna pays penance, ultimate penance, for his ultimate act of negligence. And when he comes to the surface, he can see Zeke. Because he has access to the paths, and Zeke currently has access to the paths. And he apologizes. He goes, I'm so sorry. I was so blinded by my motivations that I didn't see the man that you could be and the man that you clearly are now. And Zeke realizes this. He goes, all is forgiven. Love you, Dad. I love you, son. That being said, we've both been manipulated by Erwin from the start. So, again, yes, it was a power of the Titans that turned this decision into something completely, not far-fetched, but completely, it just exploded. But the original concept was conflict of humanity and what a human needs to thrive. The act of that being taken away, it's quite deep. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, power can kind of, or the Titan, I guess, it kind of gives people like an ego for an idea, and then that idea becomes bigger.
Yeah, it does. It does. It gives people ego.
And then that idea becomes bigger and more effective depending on how powerful that Titan is, maybe. In that regard.
I want to jump on that. Actually, I had my second point that I wanted to talk about, but we'll get to that in just a moment. To jump on that, the power going to one's head, the recklessness of Berthold, of Reiner, of Annie as well, when they think they're essentially indestructible. How are they stopped? They're stopped by humans. They think humans don't stand a chance against us. And then we're surprised. And enter who I want to talk about, Levi, Mikasa, and Erwin. Levi is the GOAT. He was born and raised in the slums. The worst of the worst, like the darkest underworld mafia. To survive, not essentially from birth, but his mother was dying and essentially did. And the person that watched over him was Kenny, his uncle, as well. who he didn't know was his uncle, but then found out it was his uncle.
Yeah.
And then he was just a street rat kid, you know, that Erwin saw potential in. You've learned to defend yourself against crooks, against this evil here. You're all hiding away from Titans. Why don't you use your ability, your Ackerman, like the genetics of the Ackermans being fighters their whole life? Why don't you put that to good use?
Yeah.
And Levi put faith in this human to trust him, and he became a monster.
Yeah, it's that very sort of. It's always that interesting question. It's like, again, violence can be necessary. Violence can't be necessary, sort of thing.
Yeah.
When is it right? When is it wrong? Sort of thing. Again.
Yeah.
I
just sort of thought.
Like Levi is the epitome of. Violence is necessary when it needs to be done. And he can change into that beast. Even the Titans, they're going.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I think Annie. All of the Titans, when Levi crossed them, they were like, oh snap. I think the only reason he didn't finish off the female Titan was because Mikasa got involved. And Levi then became concerned for her welfare, slipped up and I think like sprained his ankle, giving her an opening. Like if she didn't get involved, Levi would have finished it.
Yeah.
There and then. He would. My thought, if you think about it, Erwin, in a way, very similar to the way that Marley was selecting subjects of Ymir to become Titans, Erwin was in essence doing the same with humans.
Yeah.
But turning them into, not Titans, but still turning them into necessary weapons. Yeah. And the Titan is a physical representation. They are literally a monster on the surface. But this is told internally. Yeah. With the scouts, the scout regiment, with Erwin, he's such an interesting character. He is. When he embraced Levi's humanity, he still forged him into a necessary weapon to reach not his. Well, yes, it was actually Erwin's goal. He wanted to reach. Erwin wanted answers. That we found that he wanted to know what was in the cellar. He wanted to know what was going on with the Titans. He was deeply fascinated by them, but it was just like, I can't do this unless the war ends. And ultimately, I will stop the war, no matter what. When he says to Aaron as well, when he's watching Honji experiment with the Titans, and then the next day the Titans have been destroyed, he then stoops down to Aaron's level, begins this transition of Aaron into Scout Aaron. Consider, who's the real evil? Who are the real villains?
Yeah, that question.
Is it them? Is it the Titans? The Titans are dead on the floor, alive on the floor, sorry.
Yes.
Or is it someone else? And then he walks away. Consider who the real enemy is.
Yeah.
That's just mad to me. Erwin he is aware of himself. He is aware. I am a monster. I'm creating monsters. But equally, there are monsters out there as well that we've got to stop.
Yeah.
You know, we must, like Bane, I'm necessary evil. Also, invincible. We're either the good guys or we're the guys that save the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, so... how do I get back on it?
Power Crazy Titans.
Yeah, so Levi sort of like... I guess good violence, maybe? I'd probably go Erwin later on, is that kind of thing where a lot's been done to Erwin, fine. But he becomes the complete opposite in regards to like how he chooses to use it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you can still commit violence with empathy, and it's kind of bizarre. Like you can still do things and still carry out something necessary with empathy. I think the difference of Aaron is that he forgets his empathy.
He has to force it down. He does. He does. We see it surface in the last moment, which is why a lot of people really don't like Erin's final scene with Armin. They call him just like, it's totally not his character. He's crying. He's being quite pathetic. He's being a wet flannel. Like, I always loved Mikasa. I've always wanted to raise a family with her. And everyone's just like, Erin, you're a bitch. Like, what was this solemn, like, cool, like, no. For me, this was Erin's, because, Erin had a message. He spoke to all of his friends as soon as he realised what he had to do. He did. But he made them forget that it had happened. But when Erwin ultimately, his life was taken, he then wiped the slate clean and made them all remember that they had a conversation with one another. I'm gutted we're never going to know what he said to Reiner, to Annie. Obviously, we know what he said to Mikasa as well. So Reiner, Annie, who else? Okay, the jaw flying titan as well. I don't know.
Might be.
I think he said. Oh yeah, Connie and John. Yeah, he said things to Connie and John as well. He had like a final farewell to all of them. But that for me was his emotional moment where he could let it out, where the surface of the titan, the monster on the surface, would crack, and the surface of the monstrous human would crack, and you'd see literally in your head, beneath the surface, the emotion is raw and real. You can't hide it anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he's also a kind of... He's basically on his deathbed at this point.
Yeah,
so it's I've got nothing else to lose, so I may as well just like blur everything out.
Just say how I feel.
Yeah.
I like how Armin was just like, maybe I'll marry Mikasa then.
Yeah.
Erwin. And Erin's like, no, don't do that, I really love her. I want her to be devoted to me even though I'm going to be unalive soon. And then Armin turns around and goes, okay, not the answer I was expecting.
Yeah.
That was bizarre. And he's like, Erwin, get up, come on, it can't be that bad. And he goes, by the time that you get this recorded message, 80% of humanity would have been destroyed. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Armin's I think Armin is interesting. Like when you're first introduced to Armin in the first episode, he's sort of head in the clouds. What can we do, sort of thing.
Armin is got such a good character development.
Yeah. Like he's kind of he's very articulate and very sort of like smart. He very much knows it when he's like sort of being bullied in the sort of first episode. Like he kind of refuses to sort of do any harm because he holds the superior ground morally. What he thinks he does, and then Aaron's like, why do you take this sort of thing? Like, because this is I can't remember how he explains it. But as he goes into the scouts, I don't think he even intends to go for the scouts, does he?
He only joins it because Erwin and Mikasa does.
Yeah.
He goes, you two clearly want to do the right thing. I'll do the right thing as well. Armin, from that conversation he had before, he does say to Erwin that I don't fight like you and Mikasa. I don't. I can't. It's not in my nature. I talk things through. If people want to be even vile to me, I have to let them.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't fight back. You guys do. You defend people like me, but I still want to do the right thing. Yeah. I can't help myself,
Yeah.
And that's why he joins. Armin's first fight sequence, which is why he's such a good character, because I would argue that Armin is the most human out of everyone in the entire series.
Yeah.
He's not a monster. He unfortunately does when he realises he has to be Erwin's successor. When everyone's just like, Erwin spared you, why did he spare you? You shit.
Yeah.
Basically, he ultimately then, because he keeps on rejecting this notion that he must become a monster, but then in the series 4 finale, basically, he does. He realizes that it's not his fault, to a degree, that he's rejected this side of himself that he hates so much to win the day. But as soon as he does, the game changes. It really does.
Yeah, he kind of sees whenever he has to kind of gets in contact, it all gets in sort of a sort of fight. It's sort of like a necessary sort of.
Yeah.
It's a necessary step I've got to take. I don't like it, but I have to take it sort of thing.
It's also interesting to me because Series 1, he is a bit of a coward. He is. I don't blame him. Titans are really literally right in your face. And he just decides to run away. And he keeps doing that. He slowly gains his confidence. He slowly learns to fight back. But then he falls back onto his intelligence.
Yeah.
Erwin is impressed by it. They're all impressed by it. Armin is like, oh, Reiner and Berthold are fishy. He's the one that exposes Annie as well. He's the one that forces her into a trap. It's because of people like Armin, the people that figure things out, that then the weapons can jump in and, save the day. But then we get to... There's 2 scenes that were very powerful in Series 3 for Armin. Number 1 was when Jean fumbled.
Yeah.
Jean fumbled the bag. There's a human in his face, and it's a woman as well, and Jean, ladies' man, is like, I can't do it. I can't kill a human, unalive a human. I was only in this to slay Titans. And in doing so, she then grabbed a gun, was about to off him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh my gosh, I fumbled the bag. Oh my gosh. And then Armin is the one. You think, oh my gosh, Mikasa's not going to make it. Armin gets the gun and ends up taking her life. And in that moment, Armin's like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
He is disgusted with himself that he has to do that. That it all then culminates to this final battle in Series 3, where him and Erwin make this ultimate plan, and you can view Armin's sacrifice as the destruction of that version of himself.
Yeah.
Armin does this noble, like, I became this weapon. I don't like it. It's not exactly just like, right, okay, I don't like that. Peace out. I'm gonna intentionally sacrifice himself. But he then goes, I'm going to push this version of myself to its limits. Gonna take the brunt of the bully hitting me so others can attack. And it did cost him his life. Yeah. Armin did, in essence, unalive.
Yeah, I mean, did. You even see that in the animation where, like, he's completely black. Like, it's a kind of...
It's a charred corpse.
Charred corpse sort of thing. Compared to Erwin, who's still
intact.
He's still intact, but is also on his last day sort of thing.
That was the second thing I wanted to talk about. The debate of Armin or Erwin. They had the power to create a monster, and it makes sense in that moment. We got this far because of Erwin's tenacity, the way that he inspires others and creates us into who we need to be. We literally could not have been here without him. But then you can also flip it and go, yeah, but we also would not have won without Armin. Armin has serious potential. He's got loads of plans. He's also reviving Armin is going to prevent Erwin and Mikasa tweaking out and going rogue, basically. It is a big debate. It really is. And given the circumstances, Levi then has to go, like, everyone go away. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to be the weapon that Erwin told me to be, and I'm going to revive Erwin. Slaps the vial out of his hand. The last act of humanity from Erwin is like, you've got to let Armin go on his journey. My journey's done. Armin has to become. His final act is like the final soldier of Erwin's final blessing for Armin is just like, please believe me, Levi. you've got to revive him. Armin's going to do some serious good. For me, I'm spent. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Levi and Erwin and Levi. Erwin's kind of Levi's father figure.
Yeah.
So like the emotional toll that takes on Levi is not. I think it's even the first time we actually see Levi struggle.
It is definitely his first struggle.
I am, I'm like, we've seen him all through the season, like just being absolutely sort of machine sort of thing, and then it comes to this decision, and he's there going, I do not know what to do. They're both, one's a friend, one's my father sort of thing. How do I decide?
I want to liken that to one of my favourite quotes of all of video games. Very controversial again. Halo 4. A lot of people hated that video game. I loved it. I think Halo 4 is a very strong game. It missed the marks on a few bits. I get that. But I, on the whole, really enjoyed it because it was the first game where we analyse the Master Chief's humanity. So until then, we viewed him, Halo 1, 2 and 3, as this machine. This almost indestructible protagonist that the player will always find a way to win. So the Master Chief is just like this representation of always winning.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we look at him as a character, less of who the player is and more of who the Master Chief is. The final scene in the game after Cortana, the machine that is closest to Master Chief, loses her life. Master Chief questions it all.
Yeah.
He does. He's standing, he's looking, he's made it home. And he has a conversation with Lasky. And Lasky stands there. They're having a conversation just about the stuff that they've been through. It's like, Chief, I can't pretend to know what you're going through right now. You're going through a lot of grief. She was very close to you. His soldier response, Master Chief's soldier response kicks in and just goes back to him and goes, our duty as soldiers is to protect humanity, whatever the cost. Lasky goes, you say that like you're a machine, you're not. Soldiers aren't machines, we're human like everyone else.
Yeah.
And then he walks off, and then Master Chief's final quote is, she said that to me once, about being a machine. I was an absolute mess.
Yeah.
I was crying like crazy during that credit sequence. Just something even as subtle as that showed Master Chief's emotion. This just machine that has never ever struggled. And revealed, like Levi, it's like, I've always been told, I'm a soldier, I'm a machine, I get this done, I always do the same thing. And if something goes tits up, something doesn't go my way, fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
We save the day no matter what happens. Lasky turns around, or in this moment, Erwin turns around and goes, please remember who you are at heart. This is my final lesson. Well, for Lasky it wasn't a lesson, but Erwin's final lesson is, I raised you to become a weapon, but I don't see you as that.
Yeah.
I know you can become one, like a human turning into a titan. You can become a weapon. You can win the day by doing these things. Don't forget who you are. You're a human at center.
Yeah.
You can love. You can, because ultimately Attack on Titan is also a story of love failing and you realizing that the real thing that could have saved the day was love. But love is a theme in Attack on Titan. It is. And it is what tragically motivates Levi to be someone different and makes him more aware of himself in Series 4 as well. It's...
Yeah, I mean, while Armin's in transition, Levi kind of becomes captain temporarily while Armin's sort of becoming the new captain.
Yeah.
And Levi has to kind of train his human side in regards to when Eren is asking for help or when Mikasa's asking for help.
Yeah.
He has to kind of try and sit in their shoes and go, how the hell do I deal with this situation when I've not dealt with empathy or anything like
it's true.
Before?
Yeah.
And he even outwardly says, like, I'm crap at this. Like, I'm not the person to come to for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, he navigates it as best he can, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's that interesting thing again in leadership where, like, you've got to kind of, like, people have got to do their job, but you've got to also, like, empathise with people as well, like, try and understand what's going on.
And there's two, again, going back to this Erwin and Armin thing, upon what you said, Erwin realised, if I survive, if I live past my motivation here, I don't know who I will become.
Yeah,
I know I deeply want this genuine desire to understand. And then comes a hypothetical thing like, who would have Erwin become if he survived, if he gained the power of the Titan, if he discovered what the true origins of the Titans were? Who knows? He probably wouldn't have enacted the rumbling, but he probably would have gone to Marley and he would just be like, these are the we don't know as an audience
I think
who he would have become.
And I think so. The thing with Owen, sort of like, Owen's comfortable kind of getting hands on. The difference with Armin is he's not. So I think if Erwin was to become the
Colossal Titan,
he'd be a lot quicker on the button.
Yeah.
Like, he won't hesitate as much. Whereas Armin sort of knows it's the choice he can make. But he will try every other plan first before he has to make the ultimate choice. Whereas I don't think Owen would as much. Owen would probably go straight in, change, and, you know, make that explosion early.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely would have. They're both tacticians. Whereas Erwin is like necessary, like, sacrifice must be made.
Yeah.
I must sacrifice myself. Like, the destruction has to happen. Tragedy has to happen for us to get where we need to. And Armin always tries to avoid that. He himself, I mean, I kind of relate to Armin a little bit. He and myself always try to avoid the conflict. They take it and they run to avoid it, but they never get scrapped. They never get involved. They think about, how can I do this with the least casualties as possible? Sometimes that mentality doesn't help.
No.
And when Armin is reborn as the Colossal Titan, in Series 3 we never see him use it. We see him haunted by the ghost of Bert Holt, and he realises that he is now, whether he likes it or not, he has been chosen to be Erwin's successor, to continue as one of the scouts.
Armin didn't even want the position.
No, he didn't. No, when he found out he was reborn, he was just like, guys, why?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? And Levi turned around. He goes, do you want the honest answer? I don't know. I like how Levi went, is there someone coming toward all that? No, don't worry, I'm just eavesdropping on neighbours. So, oh, it was someone coming in. Oh, yeah. Hey. So Levi is persuaded by Erwin and turns around to Armin and just goes like, oh, honestly, mate, I don't know why Erwin saw in you over him. I would have chosen Erwin, but it's thanks to Erwin that you're still alive, mate. So prove me wrong.
Yeah.
You know? So Series 4 happens. Armin does turn into the Titan once at the start. He hates it because he takes a lot of innocent lives.
Yeah.
And he tries to, after that, be like, Aaron, this could have all been avoided because of your actions. You forced my hand, and I hated doing it. So we're going to wind the clocks back a bit, and we're going to try and sort this whole situation out, okay? Because I don't like it. But Armin is reborn. He is this new version of himself, and he has to fight himself, honestly, and all of his beliefs, because he is now, whether he wants to or not, a soldier. Erwin trying to paint himself as a villain to really test Armin. It's and then as well, one of the other things, the child, Garby, that's it, who took the life of Sasha. Armin hates her, but it's like, no, she's an innocent child, she has to live. It gets to the point where he avoids the conflict. In the end, he is ultimately the one that says, "Oh, Erwin is a villain. He's painting himself as a villain, but I think he's still a good guy.
Yeah.
Let's take Erwin's side. I'm sure he'll be fine."
Yeah, I mean, I think both.
Yeah.
Armin and Mikasa fall for that in regards to,
Yeah.
like, you know, they don't really
Erwin
draw, they don't
continue
draw the
on,
line right up until the last minute.
Yeah. And then Armin realizes, oh my god, we've screwed up.
Yeah.
And
that dialogue between Erwin and Armin is heavy.
Oh gosh, it is. Yeah.
Like, Armin's there questioning every decision Erwin's made, and they're going, hang on, how far in the back have you thought this through, sort of thing. And Erwin is answering it back, going, I thought this far back in time, and Armin's there going,
but I like
holy
how
crap.
Erwin has gone so far back in time and so far into the future so many times that he almost loses concept of time. And there is even that moment where he's just like, I lost concept of time so much that, like, when I was looking for my what was it, like Grishna's first wife, so Zeke's mum.
Yeah.
He was looking for Zeke's mum. So I suppose that's his half mother?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
He was looking for her, and in essence, trying to find her, he realised he needed to be the cause of his power. So he found out that he was also the reason that she ate his mum. And he was just like, oh my god, I didn't even intend on doing that, but it sort of makes sense. Everything is just so haywire. Erwin got lost in his own conspiracy. And that's awful. It really is to think about that. But going back to Armin, the moment Armin realises that Erwin needs to be stopped, and I can't avoid this anymore, is him versus the final platoon of Jaegerists.
Yeah.
That dock battle between them and Flock.
Yeah.
Two people that they were friends with, him and Connie, desperately, this is final moment of trying to say, like, guys, I don't want to have to do this. Please just walk away. And they don't, and they retaliate. They shoot Armin in the face. He was going to regenerate because he's a Titan. And then they all got to go. They all ultimately then take the lives of these people that they once perceived as friends because they were standing in the way of them and saving the world. So,
yeah, in Armin's perspective, it's the ultimate choice to take someone's life.
Yeah.
You know, like,
oh gosh,
like,
yeah.
You know, there's a lot of.
He doesn't lightly do it.
No. Like, if he's made that choice, he's made that choice for a good reason. Compared to
the Armin he was before.
Yeah, he wouldn't even have considered looking at that. He was kind of passive. He was a pacifist at heart, sort of thing.
Would you argue that act of monstrosity, of taking a life, was more monstrous or more human?
Yeah.
Again, there's that debate. Like, was Armin a monster for doing that?
Yeah.
Ultimately pushing himself to the limit of not taking a life or being this violent Titan. And then ultimately becoming that violent Titan, being the reason that they win the day.
Yeah.
And at the end of the entire series, it's not like they're happy about it.
No.
They're not just like, Erwin's gone, but it's okay, the world is saved. I remember being confused in the final scene at the first time because everyone sat around the table and they look pissed. They look tired. They're distraught. They're like, we don't have the powers of the Titans anymore. But Armin's like, there's still a lot of work to do. The mess still has to be cleared up. So many people are gone. It's just like, I hate the person that I am. I hate the person that I've become. I hate the person that I still need to be to keep the peace. But we are the soldiers.
Yeah.
And like Master Chief said, our duty as soldiers is to save humanity, whatever the cost. And it's mad. It really is. You've got characters in anime that will never, ever take a life. There will never be like, I am a pacifist. I will never, ever take a life. There's a certain character I have in mind that I want to talk about, but I'm not going to because it's going to spoil a certain show that you're watching. About this whole mentality of being a pacifist, and then sometimes in a moment where you are the one ultimately that has the capability to end it, but you decide not to because you're a pacifist, people then turn around and accuse said person of being a coward.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do it. You can't take a life, even though you know you should take a life to end this. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you keep doing that? You know that there's nothing redeemable about this.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to Batman, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Batman never takes a life. He never once takes a life. And even when chaos keeps on going, he says, I will keep coming back and I will keep stopping it. I don't care. I will not end a life. And massive respect to Batman. I too will be like, I'm going to be Batman, guys. But it's like that, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of juxtaposition between the choices which all the characters make. There's a lot of like, is this better? Is this good sort of thing? Or where do you morally stand on certain issues? And also like how. When do you know you made the right decision? When do you know you're on the right side? When do you know you're not on the right side? I mean, kind of jumping over to the Armor Titan. Theoretically speaking, he betrays his country to fight the good fight.
Yeah, he does.
Like, and he's there going, this was a hard choice. I've walked away from my family to make sure I'm on the right side of things.
Yeah.
And he, like, you see through the majority of like the last couple of seasons where like he's in a massive moral conundrum between, am I doing the right thing here?
Yeah.
I've done bad things. Will this choice that I've made redeem me, or will it in the end consume me and I'm damned sort of thing?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think it would be against the flow of this sort of conversation if we didn't talk about Mikasa. Because Armin plays a big part in like humans becoming a monster. Levi plays a part in a human, in essence, being one.
Yeah.
Mikasa is interesting. She's not necessarily a tool. She's not necessarily a pawn in a game.
No.
But she is someone who...
But she kind of chooses to be so.
She chooses it, yeah. Because Levi knows he has to be it. Mikasa adopts this, like... This power within her. This not necessarily power, like this capability to be really violent, to be really good at it as well.
Yeah.
She doesn't volunteer to the scouts. Erwin wants to. Originally Erwin at the start was like, I'm going to sign up to the scouts. And Mikasa tries to stop him.
Yeah, and she even stops him through exercises as well, where she even rigs the kit that they're...
No, that wasn't her.
Oh, wasn't
it? It wasn't. It was the general.
Oh, okay.
Because the general loved Erin's mum originally.
Oh, no.
If you remember that.
Yeah.
And his act of trying to save Erin, now that she was gone, was sabotaging his cure. That was him. You speculated it was Mikasa, and Erwin even accused her. I said, you would have wanted to become a scout.
Yeah.
Mikasa was like,
Yeah.
It was quite funny. I remember then after that happened, then John was just like, hey, yo, Mikasa, you're pretty. Don't listen to him. Your hair's really long. Next scene. Mikasa's hair is cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it. But the Erwin.
Yeah.
What she did for Erwin. She did. She was motivated not by the needs of the many, but by the needs of the person that she loved. She loved Erwin.
Yeah.
She did not realise that she loved Erwin.
No.
But in the end, she accepted that she did. This overall... I can't remember... There were comments about this, like, why are you so fixated on Erwin? It's almost like you love him. And she's like, shut up.
Yeah.
You love Erwin. I don't love Erwin. You love him. I don't love him. But her monstrosity came in when Erwin always got kidnapped.
Yeah.
He's like by the Armored Titan, and then by the by Kenny as well, his platoon. She was just like, I'm getting him back. And then Levi's like, yo, calm down. We'll get him back. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the moment where, like, she really tried to jump after Erwin, and then they're just like, no, Mikasa, no, you can't, don't do that. I feel like it was in series 2, when I feel like it must have been. Anyways, does Mikasa embrace this venom towards Erwin, where Levi had to do it with Erwin, Armin had to do it with the people that he respected, his hometown, and Erwin as well. Did Mikasa? Never.
No.
Until the final moment.
Yeah.
Until the final moment when Levi would have, but his whole body was destroyed.
Yeah.
And which is so cool. Just like even battle damaged, missing fingers, and being blind in one eye, he's like, I can still fight.
Yeah.
Wow, he's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. Like he wasn't going to be able to get there. The Titan shifters were trying to keep the origin alien thing away. They were engaged in combat. There was no way that any of the Titans would have been able to get close because they're too large. Erwin would have swapped them away.
Yeah.
The only person that would have got close at that point, the advantage, was the humans. Again, the theme of don't underestimate the humans as well. Their technology and tactics that the Titans and the enemies didn't expect. Don't underestimate them in a world of conflict where the true anyway. But Mikasa was the only one that was kind of able to get close, and Levi was shouting, "It's like, you've got to stop! You got to stop! This is it. We've only got one shot, Mikasa. Only one shot. You've got to take it." And she's like, and she can't do it. She's really trying to fight back. Then in a single flash, she gets a message from Erwin about the life that they would have had if they'd stayed together.
Yeah.
And in that beautiful final gift that Erwin has for her, like, we would have had a child, we would have lived on a farm, we would have lived peacefully in the countryside. Look, that's the life that you wanted, Mikasa. You fought for that. Congratulations. There it is. You get your vision. We can't have that. But you get to see it. You get to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, and then it fades away. And that was Erwin basically saying, just like, come on. Come on.
Finish
I'm open. Come on, I'm open. Finish it, Mikasa. Puts the scarf on. Right. Let's do this. And then Levi's like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, come on, Mikasa, let's do it. Save the world. I love that. It's just like, someone give me an opening. You got it, Mikasa. The animation of Levi alone in that episode made me just like crumple to the floor. Of him going through the debris with the rocket going, wow.
Yeah.
And just blowing up, and Mikasa's just darting from rock to rock and then smashing through Eren's jaw. I'm like, woohoo! I'm a sucker for animation, guys. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you notice it, every human character in the show that is a weapon has to come against their greatest challenge in order to save the day. Yeah. Does it come at the cost of their lives? Not all of them. Flock as well believed in a new world. He believed in Erwin's vision. Yeah. So in essence, Flock could have been like that version of Erwin if he lived. Yeah. Flock took Eren's side. Like, guys, was this not the plan? Yeah. All along to destroy all life outside the walls. Yeah. This was the plan, right? We're gonna be peaceful. Why do you want to stop this? So he was just doing his vision. He was trying to just go with the original plan to whatever end, and it cost him his life. He did, and he marched forward until the very end. It's just so powerful if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Attack on Titan comes down to the choices that people make in those sort of like
perfect
in those sort of stressful situations. It's like, who am I when the chips are down, sort of thing. It's like, what choices am I making? Who's surviving? Who's dying? Like, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and you get that from basically every main character in the show. I think even like Jean goes through that because he doesn't want to join the Scouts.
No.
I remember he only joined it because he wanted to be a city patrol. Right? I think he wanted it to be a ladies' man and like be perceived as like this really cool guy. But then when he like witnessed conflict and the motivations of others, I remember that whole scene centered around him. He was just like, why, when they want volunteers for Scouts, they literally just told us, if you take this job, there's a very, very high chance that you will unalive. Very. And he's like, having this inner monologue for like, why am I standing here? Why am I still here? Why do I want to do the right thing? So
John's was intense.
He's the one that ultimately strikes the final blow on Eren's founding Titan form as well. Yeah. He's the one that makes it and detonates the nape. I think that's really cool because he had a rivalry with Eren. It was sort of like a older brother, younger brother, sort of just like, I hate you and I don't know why. I hate you and I don't know why. And they're fighting one another. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's interesting. Like Armin is the captain sort of thing and kind of the leader. But when Armin's away planning new things, like he sort of becomes that sort of backup for them to sort of strategize a new way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I remember as well, I think perhaps Sasha's quite relevant. Purely because she was innocent, if you think about it. She was introduced as Potato Girl to me. She was funny. She's just like ravenous. She just wants food all the time, trying new delights. And she only wants to save her family. She's got a big family and her friends. Ultimately will put her skills to use to save them and to destroy the Titans. I don't remember if she ever... I think she did start taking lives in Series 4.
Yeah.
But she was still her usual dorky self. And someone as innocent as her who embraced that humanity and didn't, like everyone else, become this darkened, monstrous version of themselves. What happened to her? She unalived. She left herself open. Darby took her life, and that was that. Sasha was gone.
Yeah.
But in the absence of Sasha, Darby found out what she did. She viewed Sasha as a monster because she's from Ymir. She's a devil. Bam!
Yeah.
And gone. Then she bonds with her family and realises, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just awful. Maybe they weren't devils after all. Hey guys, and the one girl, I remember Sasha's sister, the one girl that stuck up for her, when she turned around and confessed, I was the one that murdered Sasha. She then turned around and is just like, you're from Mari, you're a devil, you're awful, you took this blood from my sister away. I'll always resent you, I'll always hate you.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's some deep story shit there.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, it's sort of a repeat of her own origin, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because her siblings die, and then she views someone else's monster, and the sort of again that cycle continues, and sort of we see through most of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's sort of like a female, not necessarily a female, but like a reversed Eren story in a way, if you think about it. So she's just as reckless, enthusiastic, and naive as Eren was at the start. Like, I'm violent and I want to do this to save the day, you know? And then her hometown is attacked, and then she ultimately, like Eren is like, I'm going to destroy the Titans. She's like, I'm going to destroy Eren because he took everything from me. And in the process, she discovered new things, and then she thought, like, maybe the people from Ymir weren't bad all along. Yes, I still want to destroy Eren, and she does. She does take the life of Eren. But what are our motivations after that? Save the world. Work with the people that I once hated against the mutual foe.
Yeah.
It's just like Eren assembling the Avengers. Eren is simultaneously Nick Fury and Thanos. If you think about it, he's just like, oh, good. Everyone that I love and respect is right where I want them to be. Cool. Right. Nick Fury transforms into Thanos.
Yeah.
Right. cool, let's go.
Yeah.
What? No! yeah.
Take her on turn somewhere.
I never viewed it that way, actually. Just you both assembled and fought the Avengers. It's kind of like that. Controversial take. Sorry, but yeah, why do... Well, yeah, come on. Well, I'll say why I didn't at first like Mikasa. I really like strong characters. I do. Mikasa is viewed as a strong female character. That being said, her fixation on Erwin was a bit too much for me at times.
Yeah.
I get it. It's supposed to be this unbound love.
Yeah.
But I was just like, for God's sake, yeah.
She has some good has some good traits, but it kind of is overpowered by like this constant sort of like...
Yeah.
Erwin this, Erwin that. It's like, come on, step out your own skin.
Why don't you be your own Mikasa?
Yeah.
I deeply wanted her to be like, I'm Mikasa, I'm a boss-ass bitch. Like Hanji did. Hanji was kick-ass. Hanji, like, stuck up for herself, was the only one that could take the piss out of Levi, and Levi was okay with it. You know, like, there were people saying, like, oh, why didn't Levi love Hanji? Like, there doesn't have to be love there.
No. I mean,
not necessarily, but because someone likes someone doesn't mean that they have to love them.
But I think even Hanji was older than Levi, but like,
I think... And taller, lol, midget.
Yeah, like... Hanji almost becomes like the mum to a degree. Like when again. Like
it's a good way of looking at it.
So you've got, I think when Levi is taking leadership and tries to do like the empathy sort of thing. Yeah. He's got one take that's a bit more stern, and Hanji's more. She kind of embraces that female side and is more soft in her approach. She would kind of like take a different perspective or have a different view on a certain problem.
Yeah.
But then again, she's also that experimenter where like she's introduced as like the scientist, so she'll try different things and.
Yeah, she was fascinated with Titans, and that was ultimately her end as well. She went out doing the thing that she wanted to do. There were loads of colossal Titans. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. This is so cool right now.
Yeah.
She went out in a blazing inferno.
God, that was tough. Not expect that.
Hanji's death was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I had a feeling it was coming. I genuinely thought like someone's going. One of the cast is going. It's not gonna be Armin. It's not gonna be Mikasa. Because we both know. I was thinking like they're gonna survive because Erwin wants them to survive. So they're not going. They're not going anywhere. I don't feel like it's gonna be Levi because if he would have gone, he would have gone by now when Zeke blew himself up. It could be anyone else. Garby, please. No, I'm kidding. They weren't gonna do that. She's a child. I say they weren't gonna do that. She's a child. I take it back. The first part of the rumbling was brutal as hell. You literally see in excruciating detail a child getting squashed with their teeth splintering and popping and their eyes bulging as they go splat. I was like, yeah, well, that was horrible to watch. Thanks. Yeah. Great. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Look, Hanji going out to Titans was the way that she wanted to go. She experimented on them, and she always viewed it as fair. Like, when the Titans felt pain, she wanted to feel pain as well. Like, I don't like it. I don't like hurting you. I'm really sorry. So when she ultimately took the lives of many colossals, which was badass as hell that she managed to achieve that, she's just like, take it out on me, and she passed on to see all of the other scouts in the afterlife. Irvin's final scene of just like, we got much to discuss. Irvin looking at her proud is just like, oh, I'd have done the same thing. Yeah, I basically did the same thing, Hanji. You did GG. Levi then crying. Oh, that was awful. When he sees the spirits of all of his friends, and he's just like, one single tear out from his still functioning eye. I was like, no, they're not gonna get me. They're not gonna get me.
Oh yeah, again, sort of like Levi has his adopted parents to a degree, like Erwin and
Hanji.
Yeah, and like father being Erwin and Hanji being his
It's a good
mother.
way of looking at it. I never thought of Hanji as a mother figure to him, but it kind of works.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a really older sister or something, just like that.
Yeah,
I
all
don't
that
know.
too. Definitely along those lines. It's sort of definitely on those sort of...
That's a good way of looking at that. Yeah.
Because that like... Erwin, I would say, trains, as we said earlier, Levi's a weapon, I guess. And then Hanji kind of, once he steps into the shoes of captain, begins to train Armin's, Levi's empathy.
Yes.
Like, he's crap at it, and he knows he's crap at it, and he'll go to Hanji and like, how do I deal with this situation, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, again, the commentary on what sort of person do I need to be? Do I need to be better? Do I need to be worse? Yeah. And I think it's not necessarily a commentary on the world in general. A few things could consider. You could compare it. But within the world of Attack on Titan, I think that's quite prevalent. That's a good thing to dive into. Yeah. Because it is a constant state of conflict and survival of the fittest. So every day they're looking over a wall to see if there's any Titans that they need to defeat. It's just like, if there were 9 layers of hell, they would be at the epicenter of it, you know? Yeah, and every day they've got to try and get to the surface. They get to the surface and they get to the beach. They're all enjoying the way that like fresh water, seawater feels. Like, this is great. Oh, I love it. Mikasa's trying to like it as well. I remember every time Mikasa was just like, this is great. Looks back to Erwin every time to almost get his approval, like, ha ha ha. And Erwin's just like, yeah. Cool. Yeah. But, I remember even in Series 4, when she said ice cream is nice, right, Erwin?
I've made you depression.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking alcohol is fun, right, Erwin? Rumbling. Yeah. No, I remember he did actually. Erwin did actually enjoy the night of drinking alcohol. And then he pulled the kid to one side. It's just like, I'm sorry for what happens next. What are you sorry about, Erwin? Like 2 weeks later. Oh. Yeah. Oh dear.
That is nuts. Yeah. I even remember the conversation with the kids. Like, what did Erwin say to you? He said that he was warning you outside. And they were like, what was it? Oh boy.
Yeah. What was he warning me about? What's that sound? Oh. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
Just peering out from the sea as well.
Horrifying. I hate the sea so much. So the mere thought of the colossal titans swimming underneath the water creeped me out. Oh. God, I remember seeing someone react, one of my favourite reactors, to that episode of the colossal titans merely swimming past the whole military navy. Yeah. They barely even have to move a hand because the sheer size of them and the heat that they're exuding is enough to fry them alive. And the reactor was just like, I forgot that all colossal titans have that ability. It was like, we were doomed from the start. Yeah. There's no way we could have stopped this. And I remember thinking, like, how are we going to stop the rumbling? I just don't see it happening. Yeah. No. How can we stop it? It was horrifying.
The odds are just always stacked until they're not. It's kind of that weird one like that. The odds are always stacked against them. And then all of a sudden, one domino drops and it's like, there's a way in. But
But that's just it, isn't it? And I'd say we viewed Colossal and Armored in the same way as they then saw the attack, you know? We saw this like the completely different Titans at the start of the game. We thought Armored and Colossal were the final bosses. We thought, oh my gosh, how are we going to defeat them? Reiner being himself in Series 2, wiping the floor with Erwin. And then how do we defeat people like that? Humans defeat them. Like, it's not Erwin that defeats Reiner. it's the scouts. Mikasa and Hanji defeat him. It's not the attack titan that defeats Bertholdt. It's human version of Erwin, which I thought was such a cool scene. Like, it was a distraction, and then he looks to the floor and sees that's the titan of Erwin. He's all hardened. And then he realizes, he turns around, and Erwin, human form, is like, got you. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Sick! Again, don't underestimate humans in this. Erwin knew what he needed to do. And it's that element that I love in this, of not underestimating the power of humans. Not necessarily the power of humanity, but the power of humans in this.
Yeah.
And more or less the notions of humanity that need to be put to one side to then bring it back inwards when said piece is achieved. You know, it's complicated. There's a lot to this narrative.
Yeah.
There's so many themes.
Dive into a ton. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah, we briefly discussed about some of the themes in this episode. Yeah. But like, you could argue that there's all sorts.
Yeah.
There's like horror. You could kind of say there's a tiny bit of sci-fi as well. The reveal of the sort of like alien thought thing beneath the earth. There's just so many. It's how does one achieve this power? How do they do it? Honestly, it's dark. It's a dark story. It's a dark world, and when hope is achieved, the color palette changes. It's light, and when hope is almost taken away, like the whole weather changes in series 2. Like a storm starts to hit.
Yeah.
Lightning crackles around them, and boom, weather's bad again. It's just the weather matches the scene.
I think the sun's always if a something's gone well, you always sort of see the sun.
Yeah.
Reflecting off the sea or buildings, or it kind of reflects off the camera sort of thing. Sort of, you kind of get the peaceful sort of sun view compared to like when it's rough. Like you get some serious storms going on, the rain's going on,
or the rumbling started. Literally, the sky turned to fire.
Yeah,
it was red, black cloud. It was awful. Yeah, and then when the Titans all passed and left the walls. I say the walls, they literally were the walls. When they left the area, that's when the weather changed. It was all bright, it was colourful and blue. But everyone was just like, oh, peace, 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 cool. And then we're just like, yeah, but this is the bubble of peace that Erwin wanted. We all know what the weather is like outside of this. We all know the truth. We all know that shit's gone down. Yeah.
I guess, how would you round it up though? Because it's so complex. The thing that sort of comes to mind is like, we're all flawed individuals. We've all got the capability of doing violence. It's hoping that you make the right choices and have the good choice. Sort of. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of you sort of your bad side sort of thing. Sometimes it can do.
That's still a part of you. You've got to embrace every part of you. And I wouldn't say Attack on Titan is a story of people rejecting that part of them.
No.
It's a part of it.
Yeah.
People do. Every character is completely different in this as well. Like Connie, take Connie for example. He was about to do a bad thing. He not selfishly. He wanted to turn his mum back to normal. And he was about to sacrifice a child to do that. But this was after basically the apocalypse started. He's like, I've got nothing left to lose. The world is going to end. I want my mum back. I want to hug her and say, like, love you, mum. You know? But in the last moment, I think Armin stops him. Armin actually seeks him out and goes, like, no, you can't do that. It's not right. It's Armin coming in clutch again. Connie then ultimately is just like, yeah, sure, Armin, you're right. I get it, yeah. But, yeah, I wonder if Connie ever got his mum back. I think he probably did, because Eren took away the power of the Titans So the Titan would have disappeared. So maybe Connie did get his mum back.
Might have done.
Yeah, I could have looked that up.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Connie got a happy ending.
Yeah.
No! Can you imagine if that kid got sacrificed for nothing?
Oh,
Connie would have had to live with that.
That'd be Attack on Titan. That'd be on theme though.
He's Bakugo's voice actor.
Yeah.
Wow, isn't he?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I think... Anything else you want to talk about?
No,
I think we basically covered that.
Yeah.
In an hour and 20, no less.
Yeah.
Nice. We covered more ground there than I thought we would, so I'm really happy about that. That was quite a unique discussion. We were basically a bit all over the place, but it sort of like had a resolution there and all. So, next week, episode 13.
Yeah.
Wow, the last episode in the Attack on Titan agenda already. My goodness. Well, it felt like, the Batman agenda did go on longer. It was basically a month because we split episode 8 into 2 parts. There might be another one of them in the future. Who knows? But for that one specifically, we definitely wanted to do that. But next week, we are going to talk about the themes of Attack on Titan. We basically hinted at that today. We won't talk about what we sort of spoke about today, like humans being monsters, monsters being humans, that sort of stuff, you know. We're going to dive into maybe commentaries of what Attack on Titan is trying to say, like the cycle of things, of conflict, of war as well. The real life implications that Attack on Titan is trying to represent in like manga form, you know. Our teeth sunk into that. It's gonna be quite a heavy one. But at the end of next week's episode, we'll announce our departure for the time being for our mid-season break and what we got planned during that departure.
Yeah, we're not gone permanently.
No, just for a month.
Well, we've got some stuff that we're dropping as well during the month. So yeah,
we got some things cooking.
Yeah.
Cool then. Yeah. Ready.
See you soon.
See you soon, guys.
Subscribe.
Sayonara. Subscribe.